So welcome along. I'm Bernadette Logue, one of the founders of pinchmeliving.com, and I'm here with my very dear friend Patricia Varley as we bring to you our audio series which we've titled Confessions of a Spiritual Nomad. So we'd like to start by giving you a bit of a brief introduction about who each of us are and why we've put together this audio series for you, and then we're just going to kick into sharing the first topic in the series with you. And also just to let you know, we're going to release each topic in the series as a separate audio file, so do make sure you pop onto our website and subscribe to receive those. So Patricia, do you want to start just by sharing a bit about who you are?
Absolutely. Hello, Bernadette. I'm excited about co-creating with you. My name is Patricia Varley, for those of you that are listening, and I've been an international speaker and a business and life coach and a certified Edgewalker coach and facilitator for over 25, 30 years, and have just been on an amazing path as a spiritual nomad and sharing my gifts as a teacher and a guide and a leader and a speaker, and facilitating retreats around the world and around the country. I'm here on Maui in the United States right now as we're recording this, and want to welcome all of you today.
Beautiful. And I'm feeling very honoured to be able to co-create this series with Patricia as well. I've been on my spiritual nomadic journey for a shorter period of time, perhaps about 3 years, since I dove headfirst into it. I'm a little bit of background on me for those that don't know me. I'm one of the founders of pinchmeliving.com, which I run with my husband Aaron, and that's a blog site which is designed to inspire you to be who you are and do what you love. But in addition to running the blog site, I'm also a coach, and recently authored 2 Kindle best-selling New Age self-help books. And those books are really a journey of my own spiritual nomadic adventure, which I wrote to share with you as sort of a map to help you on your own. So Patricia and I have joined together to bring this series to you because we're both spiritual nomads, and we feel a real calling, I guess, to share messages that are going to support you on your own journey. We feel like joining together is a really natural thing to do for us at this point because of how we met, and the topic today, co-creating with the universe, is very much applicable to how Patricia and I came into each other's into each other's paths and what we feel called to do and co-create now. So Patricia, do you want to talk a little bit about how we came to connect together? And
Absolutely, and you know, there was such magic in it because I was the Women's Information Network Maui Global Women's Summit founder and leader. So I created a Women's Summit to really empower women's lives and open and enlighten women's hearts here in the islands. And last May, through a series of advertising on that global event, Bernadette had found me on the internet, and we connected almost immediately on the phone and through email. We just had this instant connection, and we started to Skype, and we knew that we not only needed to meet, but that our journeys as we got to know each other were quite similar in terms of we had been really navigating really co-creating with the divine and moving around the planet and making what some people might feel were radical moves and changing our lives and leaving, you might say, quote-unquote, mainstream from where we've come from, and knew that we were guided from our spirits, from our authentic self, from something greater than ourselves to begin to explore and evolve and deepen into who we really are. And from that, the courage and the commitment it has taken to stay on that path is something that Bernadette and I have supported each other in and learned from each other and encouraged each other and really met each other so that we could continue to grow as the women that we are, both professionally, personally, and spiritually. So her meeting felt like a gift from the divine, you might say, like a spiritual sister. And I just feel so blessed to have met. It was clearly meant to be.
Absolutely, I feel exactly the same way. And I think when you're out on, well, I call it out on a limb, and my latest book is called Out on a Limb, Going Out on a Limb, and Patricia does Edgewalker coaching, and I think both those things speak directly to what we're about and the journey that we've taken, and that is we have walked out on the edge into the unknown, into uncertainty, And I know Patricia had a long corporate career before going down this amazing path that she's on. I had the same 13-year corporate career before I left that behind and started the work I'm doing now. And it takes a deep, deep, deep faith and trust to be able to step into the unknown and recreate your path, recreate your life, and follow a calling that you feel deep within when everything societally, I guess, points you in another direction, and yet your heart says something else. It calls you in a different direction. And I think we all need support to follow that calling for ourselves and to know how to co-create our lives with the universe and with each other. So for me, this audio series is really about supporting you on whatever path you're on, helping you to tap into your deepest intuition, helping you to feel courage to do that, because someone like Patricia has been that for me in my life. I've supported her. We both support our clients that we coach, and I think it's really, really important that we all access that level of connection and support when we're looking to go out on a limb or walk on the edge in our own lives.
And you know, Bernadette, what I would also speak to is that if I look at the last, it's almost 7 years to me how I've lived, you know, so out of the quote-unquote box of what was expected of me, I couldn't not take the journey. It was like my calling was calling me. Something deeper in me was asking me to step out of the identity of what I was to become more of who I am now in this moment. And it's been a great undoing of a lot of the beliefs and ideas and letting go of the structures and the identification of who I thought I was in order to not only emerge a more authentic self as Patricia Varley, but what I'm so inspired by this audio series that we're doing and what we're sharing is that so many people now are in times of massive change. The world is shifting, our economy is shifting. So many things are unknown and can feel quite scary, and many people don't know how to navigate. And how do you move into the unknown when you've never been there before? So I feel that the journey that you and I have both been on, and I know that I've been on, has not just been for me, but to support others and trusting the universe, trusting themselves, having the courage, having a sense of direction, knowing how to follow the signals, follow the signs, so that they can not only see clearly, but flourish and thrive through these times. But it is a time of incredible transformation and change. It could be scary, but also extremely liberating.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we'll talk about the times of change and the shifts in energy throughout the audio series especially. We'll talk a little bit now maybe about what is a spiritual nomad and get your insight into that, Patricia, as well. I think that Patricia's touched on it. She has moved her life around the planet, literally nomadically. Myself and my husband Aaron have done the same, literally selling all our possessions, selling our house, moving between Thailand, New Zealand, where we are now, and Hawaii, where I met Patricia. And I think it's not so much about the travel, that's not what we're really here to talk about, but it's about following your heart and your calling, and sometimes that takes you to different places physically, sometimes it takes you to different places within yourself. And Patricia touched on just before, talking about it being sort of a process of undoing. And I think that is the most important thing that I've learned on the journey, is that when we go on this journey to understand ourselves better, it's not about adding things to ourselves. For me, it's about breaking yourself down to the truth of who you are. And much like Patricia's own experience, I didn't even know who I really was, and I am surprised and delighted to find out now who I really am. But to do that, you have to let go of all of the layers of stuff that you carry around throughout your life, and the spiritual nomadic journey for me is about coming home to the truth of who you really are. Do you want to talk a little bit, Patricia, about that?
Yes, no, absolutely, because, you know, the spiritual nomadic journey for me has been a bit of a big leap of faith. there's an expression that says sometimes the greatest transportation is a leap of faith. And I feel like I've been transported around the world by a leap of faith. But you're correct, Bernadette. It's not just about moving around. Now, my journey happened to take me from everywhere from the mainland of the United States to Hawaii, to Europe, to the Middle East. I mean, I've been all over. But through that journey is where the growth has occurred. But I call it, it's been like a magic carpet ride for me. And it's actually strengthened what I call my faith and my trust muscle in my own being, because I kept being guided to places like coming to Hawaii, and doors would open and I would synchronistically meet people and I would be offered free houses to stay, and then I'd get a car, and then someone would say, oh, do you want to come here? And it was like I could almost see the magic of I was like I was on a road where every intersection was a green light, and the opportunities and the synchronicities and the so-called coincidences kept opening up, meetings with the perfect people, the perfect lessons I needed to get. I always manifested places to live, and a part of my own brain thought I was crazy. How can you live like this? And everyone around me thought I was crazy. But yet I kept getting, as my faith grew and the trust of the process grew, and then I started feeling the benefits of the connectedness to myself and to nature and to the world, and noticing the ways that I was living a limited life and maybe not even working in the way that I wanted to anymore. The journey itself helped me to develop those inner and outer qualities of adaptability and openness and intuition and sensing things and how to meet different people and be in different cultures. It's also made me a much more well-rounded person. But it's not like I had a travel itinerary. I just got on the carpet, the magic carpet, and it started moving me around. It was quite scary, but very exciting. I think you can understand that, Bernadette.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people that know me, I use the word signals, but you call them signs, you call it synchronicities, coincidences. This is how the world literally works. You see the calling, you see the synchronicity, you see the sign, you act, and the world literally responds to you. What you've done and what I've done is that we've gone to what some people would call the extreme, and literally doing that to the point where it's tipped our lives upside down. I don't believe that that is the extreme. I believe that that is the natural order, and that's what we're all called to do. It's just that the world we live in, to me, has become so suffocated with fear. Access their natural courage, their natural inner voice, which would tell them how aligned they are to the flow of energy if they just stepped into that. So I guess we've both followed those signs. It's led us to understand who we really are. It's led us directly into the work that we really came to do. When we say the work we really came to do, I believe I came into this life to do the work I'm doing now. I know, Patricia, that you feel the calling the same way. That's why we spend our time doing what we're doing. For every person it'll be different, and I think for the people that are listening to this, what I really want to say is listen to the audio series through what you want to create in your own life, thinking about who you really are, why you really came into life, what you're really capable of, what your heart calls for, and just we're about opening up your paradigm to see how you can co-create with the universe, and as Patricia talks about, how you can navigate and transition through change in your life with divinity and partnership, because this isn't some unnatural way of looking at something. This is how the world really works. Divinity is with you and is helping you whether you're aware of it or not. It's just your choice as to whether you tune into that and go with the natural flow.
Well, and I think that a really important thing is that, I call them almost like spiritual navigational tools, is that spiritual is not even about religion. It's about your essence. It's about your unique energy, your sense of unique calling in your life. There's only one of you in all of time. There's only one Bernadette, only one Patricia, only one of you that are listening. We each have a sense of calling and purpose. And to the extent that we put ourselves in boxes to try and be who we think we're supposed to be, we block off the flow of abundance, of joy, of all the things that we're really designed to be. And it's sort of like unlocking that which has kept us bound so that we can fully experience and express and co-create our life with the divine. And what happens is, I love what you said, Bernadette, is that this is actually the natural order of things. And this is the real flow. And we've gotten so far away from that. So it's not even just about seeing the synchronicities and seeing the signals. It's also about being able to feel them, to being starting to get more in touch with sensing them in your body. It's like a more holistic way to live. Your body, mind, spirit, intuition. So bringing all in your mind, bringing all those things together to therefore, co-create with intention, with clarity, with a sense of your own purpose, and being committed to saying, you know what, I give myself permission to connect with and get to know my full, authentic, unique self more deeply. And when we do that, life begins to support us in a natural, what looks like magical way, but it always is available to that. We just have to step out of the box and take that leap and courage to do it. Yeah.
I love what you just said there, because it's like the magic, what looks like miracles and magic and surprises that shock you when they happen. Like you say that getting a house for free, you turn up somewhere, you follow your signals, you on your spiritual nomadic journey, things literally just get given to you. We had the same experience in Thailand. Someone literally just gave us a house for 3 months. These things are seeming like magic to us. These are the natural order. This is what happens when you just fall into the slipstream of your life. And it's about stepping outside of fear and stepping into faith, which gives you the access to do that and have these experiences. It's not that these things are luck. It's not that you're special if these things happen to you. Everybody's special. Everybody can have these experiences, and you will have them if you step into faith and out of the fear and move with that natural order of things. And I think one of the things that I've learned along the path is that I spent a long time in my life, right through my 20s into early 30s, sort of doing personal development and trying to find my purpose and find what I was meant to be doing. And what I realized in my time in Hawaii last year, when I came over and I met Patricia and had a real transformative experience during that time, was that your natural passions and your natural joys are divinity expressing through you. So people want to know, what does divinity want from me? What am I here to do? What's my purpose? When you feel inspiration and you feel joy and you feel passionate about something and you feel excited, that is the direction to move in, because that is how divinity expresses through you, is through those feelings, those impulses, those inspirations. All you need to do is to honor those. So honor them and step into them. And when you do that, that's when paths open up, unseen hands start helping you. That's the natural flow and order. Yeah.
Well, I think it's very, very powerful, and it's also a process of asking. I mean, I can tell you that part of the co-creation process and being able to receive the guidance, I have been in places where I didn't know where I was going next. I didn't know where I was even going to live, and is this where I'm supposed to be? And I would actually say, show me. I'm open. Show me, where do I go next? Who do I speak to? What am I meant to do? And boom, someone would call out of the blue, or a house of free. I've had many free houses offered to me. Situations that people say would never happen. One time, and then also a lot of things appear to be taken away that look like loss, but what that did was it cleared the space. So it's being willing to let some things go, even a mindset, but it cleared the space for a whole new reality to show up that is actually was more in sync with my natural divinity instead of my old personality. But it does involve letting something go to create the space for the new, even when you don't know what's coming. So it is a bit radical. What I would say, I don't know if you feel this way, Bernadette, is over for me the last 5+ years. I mean, I've been a seeker my whole life. Everything I was seeking, I have found is in myself. I was looking for my perfect home. I was looking for my perfect place on the planet, the perfect job. And what I found by journeying around and going from place to place and person to person and thing to thing is that what I was looking for was within me all along inside, that the true home is in the heart and it's in the spirit. And we take that with us anywhere we go. So that sense of peace and connectedness is always with us regardless of where we're at or who we're with.
So let's talk about a few examples of what it looks like when we're talking about stepping into faith, letting go of fear, and really co-creating with divinity when you see the opportunity or your signal to move in a certain direction on your path. Because Patricia and I have both had these experiences, and it takes a lot of courage at times to follow those. I know for myself, I had to literally step away from my career and quit that and start a new business from scratch, and that was incredibly a fearful experience for me and incredibly liberating, and I knew that I was being called in that direction. I was getting a number of signs about needing to do that and not trying to keep a foot in both camps, if you like. And Patricia talked a little bit about, having to let go of things at times, and you have to release the grip on what you've got sometimes in order to receive what you need. And I know I literally was sitting at my laptop one day and I said out loud to divinity, how am I going to get to Hawaii? Because I knew that I needed to be in Hawaii. I knew there was a reason I had to be there. It was a very strong inner voice. And as I was sitting there typing on my laptop, I asked the question, how am I going to get to Hawaii? And literally a voice came in and said, sell your house. Sell your house. And I'm not kidding you, within 5 minutes I had 2 other instances which were really clear signals about selling my house. And Patricia said to me that week when we talked about it, if that house sells, that's your green light. That's your green light to go. And she talked about that when you're on the magic carpet ride and you get the green lights. And lo and behold, in a market that would dictate a house wouldn't sell, our house sold almost immediately on a cash offer. So I had to let go of the house in order to go to Hawaii. Now, that's not what I would have envisioned in my dream. I would have thought I'll have everything. But there's a reason that that happened. I had to start to realize that things and certain places and things I thought I needed were not what I needed. And it freed me up on my journey to be where I am now, which is about to move my life to Bali. And I never back then would have known that. So at times you've really got to have deep faith in the path that you're walking. And I think when you trust divinity, when you start to see that the signs do lead you in the best direction, that faith grows over time. So Patricia, I know you've had experiences, many, 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 many experiences like that as well.
Well, the one that really, and I remember having that conversation with you, because what happens is when we're aligned with the universe, one of the things I want to share is that the details get handled. And I think part of my brain was like, well, how is this going to happen? And how am I going to manage this? And we all try and figure things out before we do it, but sometimes we have to take the leap and then things get handled. I just want to put that in there because most of us are into,
Definitely.
well, how am I going to do that? So for me, this all started, I was living in South Florida, Naples, Florida for years, and I felt so stuck. I'd been in Florida for 30 years. I'm originally from New York, and I knew, but I felt stuck in my life. I was ready for a change. I had no idea what to do. I was at a complete blank, and this was like early 2007. I kept asking for signs. I kept asking for signals. I said, show me. I couldn't figure it out, and a variety of things over 6 months, from phone calls to seeing programs to seeing Hawaii stickers on the back of the car. Everything was pointing me to Hawaii. And Hawaii was, I'm an East Coast girl, the United States girl. So to go to Hawaii, I had been there like when I was younger, but I was not interested in really going to Hawaii. It was the last place in the world I thought I'd go. So for 6 months, I kept getting signals and signs, and I'd hear Hawaii, I'd hear Hawaiian music. And finally, I really got, okay, I'm going. I actually even then had somebody tell me, you're going to meet love. You'll meet the love there, which is what happened to me ultimately. And I finally went, and I got rid of my house in Florida, having no idea where I was going, put my car in somebody's driveway, put everything in storage, and flew to the Big Island with 2 suitcases. And I went to swim with the dolphins. It was June 1st, 2007. I went for a 3-week trip, which then became 3 months, and now it's 7 years. And I have continued to travel over the last 5 to 7 years, but from the first week on the Big Island of Hawaii, I got there and my life started to change. Like doors opened up. I swam with dolphins. I met a whole new sense of family and friends out here. I got offered an amazing, gorgeous house to live in for free and for 3 months. I met somebody. I then got pulled to another island, and it just kept opening and opening and opening. And there were many times I wanted to look back, but I couldn't because I felt that my life was moving me forward in a completely different direction. And I could have never figured that out when I was in Naples, Florida going, okay, well, what am I going to do when I get there? I had no idea that all of this was going to happen. And but I had to say a yes to my life in a different way, and then all the details started to be handled in a magical way, which is really how life wants to always support us, Bernadette. It's not, it seems
Yeah.
magical, but we all have an opportunity to do this, and I know you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think touching on that, the details get sorted is perfect. Thank you so much for bringing that in, Patricia, because the thing for me is that I've learned is that if it's all shown to you before, where's the faith? If it's all
Mm-hmm.
if the details are shown to you, if it turns up in your mailbox as a manual that says follow these steps and we'll tell you exactly what's going to happen before it happens, where's the faith? There's no faith,
Mm-hmm.
there's no opportunity for growth, there's no expansion. And I'm really clear on one thing, and that is we come into life for expansion and learning. And we come in to give our gifts, and there is no expansion and no learning if it's all handed to you before it happens. So for me, I think once you start to live this way, as we are spiritual nomads, spiritual people full stop, your faith grows when you see it happen in your own life and you realize it is the natural order and it is the truth. And each time it happens, you become more courageous, and then you know next time you don't need to know how, because the details will definitely get sorted, because that is exactly how the world works. And it's once you step forward and start to see it in your own life. You know, I say this to people and they say, but, you have to do it once to see it happen in your own life, and that will help grow your courage and deepen your own faith.
And I know in my own life, I've had so many evidences of the support from the divine, and how when I get out of my own way, that co-creation comes what I call with ease, grace, and flow. And even after
Mm-hmm.
all these amazing evidence and support I've had, I still have moments where I have doubt and I don't trust it all. I feel like I have to figure it out, and I get scared. I mean, and I get fearful. I mean, I go there too. I think we all do. And then we can,
Absolutely.
that's why we have, like what we're doing, Bernadette, we help each other, but that's part of the reason for even doing this audio series, is to support people, because we sometimes move 5 steps forward and 3 steps back. So it's just remembering to support you and staying on that journey and keeping that faith and trust and knowing that you're cared for.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, people look at other people and think, well, I've got it all sorted. I'm not like them. I'm the only one struggling. And that is not true. That is not true. Every single person is having their own challenges. We're all human. Every coach has a coach. I've got multiple coaches in my own personal life, friends and family. I come to Patricia for advice when I need advice. Everybody needs a coach and support as they go through their own journey. And that is why we're passionate about sharing this audio series with you. I don't think that fear ever completely leaves you. We live in a world where I think it's just pervaded to the nth degree with fear. I don't think it disappears completely, but you become completely different about noticing it, witnessing it, seeing it for what it is, and just stepping through it in a different way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe we just end today's audio session with just maybe letting you reflect on what it is that you can do in your own life now to start to connect in with your own inner voice, with your own instinct, and with the divine. And as Patricia said, you know, ask for what it is that you need, ask for the guidance, but then be willing to open your heart and actually step forward and follow it. Don't wait to be shown all the details. You have to step forward and start to take some actions in your life in the direction that your heart calls you. Patricia, have you got any advice for people in that?
Yeah, one thing I would piggyback on that, or add to on that, Bernadette, excuse me, is to be really honest with yourself. You know, to do a real reality check in with your heart, and really look at, you know, it may seem scary. Maybe you're in a comfort zone and it's familiar, but really be honest. If you know that there's something calling you, you know there's a greater expression of who you are, or something that you need to let go of, is give yourself permission to love yourself enough to say, you know what, I'm ready. Change is scary, but sometimes staying the same is scarier. So it takes a step in courage, and even self-acknowledgement and self-honoring and self-respect and self-love to say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself, to do what Bernadette just said, is to ask for change, to step forward, to move out of the box that I've been in. And if you're happy, that's fine. But if you're really feeling either stuck or unfulfilled or knowing that it's time to make a change, allow yourself the space to do that and be gentle and be compassionate and know that you've got the courage and that the universe and all of us are out there to support you.
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I think we'll leave the topic here today and say that we'll be really excited to share with you the following parts of our audio series, Confessions of a Spiritual Nomad. So please do jump onto both our websites and have a look, and also subscribe so that you'll get an update when we release the following parts to the audio series. So Patricia's website, Patricia, that is patriciavarley.com.
PatriciaVarley.com. It's Patricia, and then Varley is with a V as in victory. Patricia Varley, VARLEY.com.
Perfect. And my website is pinchmeliving.com. So do join us online. We'd love to have you in our online communities, and do subscribe so that you'll get the latest updates from us when we release the following audios for you. So thanks everyone for being with us today, and we'll look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Bernadette.
Thanks, Patricia.